Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of The Suited Shootist. And we're going to take a little bit of a shift, kind of back into the lifestyle piece of this today. What I wanted to talk about was actually something that stems from a conversation I had with Annette Evans when we had a chance to catch up at the Rangemaster Tactical Conference in Dallas back in March. And what was really interesting is how a lot of this correlates, and a lot of this stuff is very kind of interconnected, at least the way I see it. So the discussion was, when she is talking to her primarily female audience, one of the things that she likes to do to kind of drive some of the points home is, the example she used was, she encourages people to buy the nice body wash. The idea being is that if you don't value yourself enough to indulge every once in a while, then how can you really say that you value yourself enough to fight for yourself? You know, if you're not willing to spend an extra $8, then why are you going to throw down in a bloody fight? It's a bit hyperbolic of an example, and I'm probably not really doing the idea justice the way she expressed it, but it is something that I want to dig into a little bit as well, because it's something that I subscribe to, insofar as it brings it back to making sure that you're living an enriching life, a fulfilling life that's actually worth fighting for, and you're not just going full Travis Bickle, and every waking moment that you have is preparing for a fight that may never come. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the kind of occasional luxury experience. That's different for everybody. And I think it's critical to acknowledge that, because especially when you start talking about some of the subjects that I do, it's very easy for it to get misinterpreted as judging other people. And I don't want that to be how it comes across, nor do I think that's appropriate. On the victim selection side of things and the understanding predatory behavior, yes, there is certainly value in profiling people because of how they present themselves, how they're behaving, etc. However, in a social context, just a normal social context, if you are looking down on somebody or treating them as lesser than because they are not living up to your standard of whatever it is, whether they're not wearing the clothes that you think they should, or they're not carrying the gun that you think they should, or XYZ, that just makes you an asshole. And that's not what we're about. But there is definitely some value in treating yourself every once in a while. For me, right now I am wearing 3 different high-end Italian designers. I got a nice Swiss watch on. I've got an expensive pair of sunglasses, but I don't own any of this stuff just to flex and show off to strangers on the internet. I own this stuff because of how it makes me feel, and because I was able to acquire quality products at a much more accessible price, because pretty much all this crap was bought consignment anyways. So I was able to get higher quality at like department store level of investment. I've done a video on that. I'll link to it below because it is worth looking at. That said, I've been to networking functions and social events where somebody's wearing a J.C. Penney house brand suit, and they look good doing it. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody derives value and derives enjoyment from different things. I enjoy smoking cigars and drinking whiskey because I enjoy smoking cigars and drinking whiskey, not because there's some sophisticated image that it portrays. And I call these two out specifically because, I've got a few Cuban cigars in the humidor. I've had the opportunity to sample Pappy Van Winkle, just for instance. Neither of them really do it for me, especially with the following and the cult-like fawning that they attract. It's not worth the hassle to me. I am much happier going in and buying, a bottle of Rare Breed or 4 rows of single barrel, paying $50 for a bottle of bourbon, because the $500 bottle just doesn't do anything extra for me. Everybody's value proposition is different. Everybody's concept of luxury is different. The idea, some people don't care. Clothing for them is purely a necessary evil to avoid running afoul of the law. So I'm not necessarily saying that if you're looking to do this, you need to go out and buy some expensive designer label. It's the idea of understanding what I really need to find a better term for this, but I haven't come up with one yet, self-love language is. Because that's exactly it. For some folks, it might not be a purchase. It may just be, something as simple as turning their phone off for an hour, or, what have you. But I'm kind of going about this just to make the point that if the entire reason that we practice violence and carry these tools is to survive and prevail in a violent encounter, then what is it that you're fighting for? And obviously there's the expected answers of being able to make sure that you're still there for your family, of course. But it's also about just enjoying the little things, taking joy in life, because none of us make it out alive anyways, and for some, they don't necessarily know. For a lot of us, we don't know when our last day is. So it's a little bit morbid, it's a little bit of the memento mori, but don't necessarily hold. And I'm not, don't go be frivolous financially. Don't go buying shit that you don't need, that you can't afford. But there's nothing wrong with spending a little bit of money on yourself, or doing something to treat yourself, to just indulge a little bit. Same thing with your significant others. So just a little bit more disconnected of a thought, but I really do think that it's something that bears mentioning from a couple different standpoints. Number one is, less so these days, with gun culture 2.0 expanding and there being a much wider breadth of demographics that are coming around to the idea of gun ownership and carrying defensive tools being normal. But in the, I guess, prototypical caricature of the alpha sheepdog, the idea of dressing like this is dismissed as frivolous and somehow being less masculine. Who cares? Everybody's value and what brings everybody joy is different. And honestly, I've had just as much life experience in a duck blind in Louisiana at 5 in the goddamn morning as I have in Michelin star restaurants. So more than anything, I just want to kind of touch on the fact that make sure that you're not missing opportunities for experiences. And again, it's not necessarily a bad idea to just remind yourself every once in a while that life is worth living. Have fun with it. What do you guys do? How do you reward yourself? I'd love to hear it. Let's hear it down in the comments. Bespoke Solutions, the Facebook group, is another place that conversations like this take place. So if you want to join up, the link is there as well. Aside from that, I hope everybody has a great week. stay safe, and stay sharp.